get started. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so welcome everyone. So let me just quickly share my screen. Right, so let's get started. So hi everyone. Welcome to the platform bootcamp. My name is Senthil, and a session on RPA using Power Automate desktop. It's actually a brand new feature that came in on Power Automate put together. About me, so I'm a senior architect on modern workplace context. I work for and I'm primarily on the Power Platform, Microsoft 365 and Azure areas, and my interests are more on local automation, and I'm an avid performer on hackathons and my handles are actually given here, so for a quick reference, and please do use this hashtag to actually tweet on the overall context. Let's get started then. First of all, let's thank our sponsors here for all this during this pandemic. It's been a great experience. It's the first session for me, and I've had it's been quite a great journey so far. And thanks to all the sponsors and as well as the organizers as well. Right, so let's get started. So what I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to talk about the RPA in Power Automate. So which is nothing but robotic process automation and Power Automate. So right, so Power Automate by itself does a lot of automation. So what does RPA does over here, right? I mean, whatever we do in product on the online or on the cloud-based context. So with the introduction of RPA, Power Automate takes next giant step in terms of automating the legacy and as well as the on-prem systems as well. Like for example, so how we've been talking about in Power Automate mainly in terms of automating things in SharePoint Online, and we do have a lot of connectors which connect to Power Automate and then create a lot of flows. But here in Power Automate desktop, desktop flows by which it gives us a provision to create RPA based solution. So which means we will now have an access to our on-prem systems and also all these legacy systems like mainframe, AS4, all those things. So with this, Power Automate gets into this, I would say the legacy areas right now. So how do we do it? Like it's using a new concept called a desktop flow. I'm sure you must have seen that while we're creating that flow. It's predominantly for this RPA solution. And in terms of a tool that we do, it's basically using the on-prem tool called Power Automate Desktop. It's typical like any Power BI or any other tools as such. So, this RPA does a lot of things attentively and unattentively. So on the overall legacy context, there are a lot of scenarios, there are a lot of business process which get happening with the supervision of users, but then with, of course, there is sort of automation as well. And then there are a lot of processes which happening at the back end that doesn't involve any user intervention at all. So that's where I think this attended and unattended RPA comes into context. So it actually came relatively new. I mean, overall, I would say last year Microsoft has acquired a company called Softwaremotive, which is an RPA company on Win Automation, and that's when this whole merger happened, and then we have this new RPA for and as part of this Power Automate. Right. So I'll have a short agenda. So I'll quickly talk about what RPA is. I'm sure some of them are like new to RPA as well. And then what does RPA on our own Power Platform context? And then I'll quickly briefly talk about what is Power Automate Desktop on the desktop flow and jump onto the demo. Right. So what is RPA? Can anyone just give a quick brief introduction of what RPA is? Quick poll. We have, of course, I talked about it, but we do have Power Automate, and I just want to understand, from your side on what does RPA fits in here.
Can I give it a shot?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Yeah. Before all this, in the past, we would automate the task, create different batch files, and time it at certain time. But now with the cloud, um, uh, we use different services, but RPA is robotic process automation. The word robotic it could be confusing. There is no robot actually, but it's a different processes that happen, and repetitive tasks are taken care of, and thus saving a lot of time. That's all what I can tell.
Precisely. So that's exactly what is RPA is. I mean, it is robotic process automation where you have a certain set of processes which have been doing it in a age-old batch files or any of these areas as such right now, which is what we're trying to automate on the overall process aspect as such. But the term robot doesn't mean the actual robot, but it's actually a bot. So it's probably called a software bot. So we do have a lot of chatbots and things, but here this is primarily like a process bot where you just create a set of processes and then orchestrate them in such a way that it actually performs and then executes the task. So in simple terms, it's actually a software bot which automates a repetitive process. Like as you mentioned, there's a lot of advantages on why what RPA is and what RPA does, and precisely like why do we need RPA? So this has been RPA has been on hanging on for some time, but the real traction has been happening for the past few years, wherein a lot of leaders of advanced technologies have been pushing it on. For example, I'm sure you must have heard about companies like Automation Anywhere, Blue Prism, UiPath, and lot of giants are actually taking a side on RPA and then getting into the side precisely because of this benefit. It gives you a lot of flexibility in terms of automating your process, and then as with any automation, it gives an ability of our staff or organization to actually perform a lot of meaningful tasks rather than working on some mundane activities. So that's the primary thing about any automation, right? I mean, so but here it's just not about any small piece of work as such, but it's an entire process. Let's say, for example, a bank. There are a lot of things in bank. One primary use case that we could pull in over here is actually on, let's say, a fraud detection. There are multiple ways, a bank identify a fraud, uh, uh, these days, whereas the whole process as such is being now automated via an RPA, thereby the end-to-end process, right from capturing the data, and then processing the data, and then identifying the fraud. The whole of it has been orchestrated, and then it gives a complete view of the overall process over here. That's the whole thing. And then it gives a lot of information, it gives a lot of accuracy, and then thereby a lot of manual tasks has been taken off, thereby it increases your productivity. So it's altogether a big revolution where with all the kind of digital transformations that are happening right now. So these are, I would say, more of a low-hanging fruit or quick wins that we are picking it over here, and those are the things that we're trying to automate and then bring it more transformation aspect as such. And just to give a quick snapshot of what the market is, I've just got it from some of the research over here. Like this number might be number might be even higher as well. Within by 2024, the overall economy of RPA is targeted as around close to 9 billion. And I think as we have been taken somewhere about 2020 with whole pandemic, I'm sure there's a lot of shift that has been happening to digital right now, and these numbers are definitely going to be higher in the current case. Well, as Sandeep mentioned in the morning, RPA or hyper automation is listed as one of the top technology trends for 2021 by Gartner. That you can see it right now. So this is one of the key trends for 2021, and RPA or hyper automation is going to be key. I mean, there's going to be a lot of focus on this process right now, and there's going to be a lot of work happening on at 2021. It's a hot technology, or it's a hot speed, I would say. So with the concept given in RPA, right? So I mean, where does it fit in Power Platform? So as you know, in Power Platform, there are a lot of components right now, like Power Automate, Power BI, Power Virtual Agents, and then of course Power Apps. So RPA fits in as an extension of Power Automate, and then so far Power Automate predominantly automates the cloud-enabled events, this is an extension of Power Automate where it's going to take care of all the on-prem or legacy related aspects as well, or the task as well. That is what it is, and how it's going to achieve, as I said. Yeah.
Now, is it one of the connector?
No, it's not a connector. It's not a connector as such. It's a different process altogether.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
So how does it does? I mean, like I mean, as I said, it's a different process. What I mean different process is that, like in Power, you create a different set of flows right now. It could be a UI flow, it could be a schedule flow, or a business process flow, and things like that. So this is a new type of flow coming, or new feature added on Power Automate, which is predominantly for this RPA capability. So as I said, so what it does, it actually helps the organization to also automate the legacy apps. So right now we've been automating the cloud-based areas, and then around the, I would say, web-based solutions. Wherever we have connectors, there are cases where you may not have connectors. There are cases where you may not have the APIs or so. That's where I think this desktop flow comes into play. The desktop flow comes into play when you feel when you don't have an API, there is no connector as such, wherein when you want to perform an operation within the on-prem system or within the legacy system, that's when the desktop flow comes into play. That's what I mean given as analog data. So far we have been talking. So far Power Automate talks on the digital data which is already there in the digital side, but here this one unlock the analog. When I mean analog, as you can see, it's predominantly the on-prem or the ones that are not exposed to digital. So this unlocks the analog data, thereby it completes the entire low-code automation portfolio. So that's one of the reasons why I say an extension of a Power Automate, where it now gives an end-to-end automation and then gives us a one complete package as such for Power Automate. So with Power Automate, now you'll be able to automate both the digital ones as well as the on-prem analog data as well. As I said, just give a clear picture. So where exactly this happens? So this bridges the gap. So we have all the programmatic API apps with APIs and connectors right now. What this brings in is the legacy apps without APIs. This is a new thing that comes in. This is the gap that actually desktop flow or the RPA on Power Automate tries to bridge over here. On top of that, along with native capabilities on legacy system, this RPA process also gives us the flexibility of embedding the AI and cognitive areas as well. So thereby you no longer have to just think about the AI areas digital side, whereas you can embed the AI aspects in this legacy data too. So thereby it gives us a complete automation, which is what termed as the hyper automation. And combined with all that, the ability to use all this AI and API with RPA makes the Power Automate, the whole comprehensive solution, and this is the only solution that is available in the cloud today. That is what Microsoft says. This is the only solution in the cloud that actually has end-to-end automation, both legacy as well as the modern side. And that's precisely the reason why Gartner recognizes Microsoft as a visionary for RPA in the latest segment. So this has been with RPA capability, this is now positioned on the visionary segment, which is competing against all the leaders right now. This is as of last year. So what is that? What are the main things on this? So as I said, so the major feature on this overall concept is all about desktop flow using a Power Automate desktop, which is a software that I have to install on premises on all the machines, basically to create RPA based. So as like any of our power tools, this is easy to use visual designer. So here we can simulate lot of scenarios using a typical recorder facility. There's a like recorder facility available. Thereby, you can actually, the whole process can be recorded using our keystrokes and also our own process. So whatever we do, that will get recorded, and then a flow gets created. So it's all low code. You don't have to write any code for that. So whatever that we do on the screen, that gets captured by this Power Automate desktop or desktop flow, and then a flow gets created, and then you can manage on the flow and then get the. As I said, so it can automate both modern as well as legacy. So this is basically, this basically marriage, our Power Automate current API concept along with this legacy ones. And it has got a cool exception handling feature as well. So thereby, whatever errors that are actually happening in the during the process can be captured using the tool itself. You don't have to write a separate one. It has got its inbuilt error handling capabilities. That way you'll be able to capture the errors during the flow, and then you'll be able to monitor and then take action. So it's a brand new feature. I think it just came in late last year. So it's still evolving. So I'm just trying to bring in a couple of quick demos right here to show what it is capable of, and then I'll also try to pull on some in terms of maybe I'll just do a small demo on web scraping. It's like scraping the actual data from the web and then storing it into the computer or storing it in the cloud as well. So that is one area which I can do a quick demo and then showcase that. Right. So let me jump onto the demo. Right. So this is the more familiar screen for us, a Power Automate screen, and where how will I trigger RPA flow? As I said, it uses a new flow type called desktop flow. This one. So this has got a lot of features involved in it. Before I do a quick check. So this uses a Power Automate desktop, which is as I said, and this requires a Windows 10 computer or above with Gigabit. And then there are other aspects as well where it talks about Selenium on Windows, but for now it's a lot more advanced. For now, I'll just create a quick Power Automate desktop flow and then showcase that. There is an extension that is required to be installed over here to get it open from any of this. So it has got extensions for all the browsers, right from Edge, Chrome, Firefox to Explorer. So once you get it installed, you'll be able to open up one over here. It takes some time. And so some of those prerequisites, you need to have the desktop that has about the extension to be. It took some time to configure as well. Yeah. So let me quickly give you, this is the default screen, of Power Automate desktop. And, I'll just give a quick overview of, it has got around 400 controls over here, or 400 actions, I would say. So a lot of actions available over here, which we can pull it and then take it on. And there are, when you get time, we can actually go through that. Some of the cool ones are, copy file, read this file, and things like that. And then there are also cases where you can run your own application. For example, if you have any legacy application or desktop application, which you can run it from here. A lot of aspects over here, and I'll not be able to pull all, so I'll just try to cover certain things. And there are a lot of aspects as well over here where some of the ones which I'll try to explore on a web, where I can just give a quick demo on how we can extract the data from web and then store it into an Excel or a OneDrive. And there's a lot of things that are available, and I can also connect to exchanges over here, and it's a lot. I mean, there's a lot available, and Microsoft has invested heavily on this. So it's pretty much, whichever that you want to do on-prem, and you can give it a shot using this tool. And as I said, so on it also gives us the capability to connect to Azure instances where you can go and then create a session, and as well as on the cognitive side. For example, you must have in Power Platform, you've seen a lot of things on test analytics and computer vision. So all those things can be embedded in this desktop flow as well. So which means, you can pull in some of the cloud flows aspects, for example, all this cognitive areas, which were part of cloud flow. Those are also available in this desktop flow. That way, this flow can actually be a marriage between, as I said, between a typical cloud flow and as well as a desktop one. You can also include the desktop capabilities. Along with it, you can also leverage some of the cognitive Azure cognitive services as well over here, and then create an end-to-end flow. And as I mentioned, it has got another feature. There's a lot of records. The two key aspects over here called web recorder and desktop recorder. So desktop recorder is helpful to perform a task. I mean, instead of, for example, as I said, so instead of you putting it all, like for example, instead of doing these things manually, like opening a test file or opening a document or opening a file, all those things, even shut on computer, and all those can be pulled in over here. Instead of manually doing it all that, this gives the capability to record those features. So using this recording capability, this can pretty much record whatever that you do on your desktop. Like I can say, for example, I can quickly come in over here and then I want to, let's say, open a notepad file. And say I want to type something. And then I want to save it. So I'm just giving a quick. I just gave a quick, snapshot of how the recording works. So this is being, I mean, for example, if you want to do this, you want to, let's say, have. I mean, this is just a small example. If you wanted to, let's say, have a person come in every day morning and then open a file and then perform certain things, you can just do this and then record this, which will record the overall process. And then it creates a flow for you. So basically, whatever that you have done, all those things can be whatever steps that you perform, right from start button to search thing to opening the notepad, writing the key. So whatever keys that are typed for, all those keys are getting captured over here, and then even the 10 keys, like for example, controllers is being captured, and pretty much overall. So whatever that I've done that has been captured over here. Trying to say. So if you just want to run this, this will exactly do whatever that I've done. Let me, okay, I think there's already file. There was some error on this one. Somewhere I think I have changed. I switched the browser. I think that got through, but I mean sorry about this error. I've just tried this web recorder in the morning. Maybe this could be the reason, but this pretty much this is what it does. So it's basically whatever that I've done. You know, it captures everything, and then that I mean, saves it as a flow. So when it's executed, it will exactly do the same thing again. So which means this just gives the clear perspective of what is being done. So with whatever that you want to do, automate, whatever the manual process you want to automate, you know, you can use this recorder facility and then record all the activities and then save it as a flow, and then you'll be able to pull that one. Let me check that one. So I'll just try and see what is the issue, and I'll probably fix it up and then have it as another demo and then share it again. So this is one aspect on the desktop side, and similarly you can also do the recording aspects on browser as well. I mean the UI level aspects too. This aspect is a browser. All this navigation. So I'm just giving a quick an introduction of how it actually does, but this helps you to capture or this records the overall aspects in browser side too. That is what I'm trying to do here. Maybe it goes dashboard. So let me stop this one. So, I mean, as you can see, so this I've actually done, I've combined both of it and then done it over here. But whereas you can open it as a new flow and then you can create that. Let me try that. Just set this up in my local environment this morning. I couldn't. That's the reason I think we're doing some error. But we will have to have a demo version and then share it. So whatever, this is what I've created right now. So that gets shown. So similarly, if you want to create it, this web recording is one of the best use cases. Web recording is on UI automation. I'm sorry, UI testing. Like if you wanted to perform certain activities, or if you want to automate certain things, that could be one area I think useful. So you wanted to go to a certain screen, and then you wanted to navigate from here, and you wanted to see whether it's all happening, and then getting the results. So that's a good use case, and that is the major one that I think Microsoft is trying to go with web, and that's what I think we have the Selenium, which is integrated as well. So it launches it and it navigates. All right. So this ran successfully right now. This is a small snapshot of how the whole web recording works. So whatever that I performed and then recorded, the whole flow as and when I executed it all happens automatically. Similarly, whatever that you want to do in web, you can whatever navigations that you want to do in web, whatever testing that you want to perform as a UI, those can be easily done through this web recording feature, and then and using the flow we can do that. One final demo, what I'll do is I'll just do a quick demo on surface extraction. So all this scraping thing that is very common in all this world right now. So I'll just do a quick demo on how we can scrape the data and from one of the sides, and then how we can sort of process the data, massage it, and then how we can insert them onto the Excel or SC. That's probably a demo that I like to do, and then I'll close on. But this time, instead of recording, I'll just do things manually. So I'll just show you, how this is being done. So for the example, I'll probably use, sort of, let's say I wanted to scrape the one from Amazon site, just for an example. So what I want to do is, I wanted to scrape the data step by step as a process, and then I want my automation to go to the Amazon site and scrape the data and then put them onto an Excel file, and all automatically. So what I can do is I want my flow to start. I just want this flow to start the browser. I give the initial URL of this. Maximize the screen. And do all that. I perform multiple things as well. So once I assuming that I have this edge launch, I wanted to do the extract data. I wanted to extract from Edge browser. Just notice this one. Once you log into the site, once the extraction process started, Automate Desktop or Desktop Flow automatically recognizes that is the extraction tool. Then it opens up another recorder aspect as well, which is more like a helper here. This will help us in terms of extracting and massaging, and then the whole thing can be done automatically. Again, there is no code involved here. So how do I do? I can use this extract element option. Each active my machine is very slow. And at this angle pause, just look at this. So as soon as you don't have to do all. I think generally it actually picks. I think there's some issues here, so let me do that. Just wanted to show it. See that? So as soon as you started putting the second one, it automatically takes it as a table, and then this form is home. So you don't have to do it for all. So once you do the first time for the first record, and as well as when you go for the second record, the helper recognizes it is actually an array or a collection, and this automatically refills the whole thing. So that's the beauty of it. So once you have it, and then so once I have this, let's say I wanted to write it to what I want to write. I mean, I just want to simply, I want to put that over here. And then definitely RMS. So the display, once I display this, then I think I can close it. All right, so this is a simple flow to extract the record. So let's see if it actually executes this one right now. just go through it. Okay, success screen, and then it closes the browser as well. So when I go here, I have some issue in my Outlook, so there you go. So this is one way. I mean, by this way, I mean you'll be able to scrape the data. So whatever that I've scraped from the site, I think that gets published over. So simple workflow, but a powerful one. So all done without any code. So I mean, this is just an example of how it does. So similarly, you can keep this one, and then you can. I mean, the whole ultimate aim is to actually see how it works at the same time, just to see how we can further enhance it. Like for example, let's say in the same demo, if you wanted to see the dates that are getting changed, the rates that are getting changed, whenever there is, for example, whenever this particular book goes on the 200, I can have my flow through an alert or send an email to me that I can get this one. So that's a quick, I mean, one snapshot of how it all works. I think, I mean, so sorry about the one on that Windows part. I think that didn't go through, but I think I was able to pull out the one on web and the scrapping part of it. I think, yeah. So this is basically a quick, demo on how we can use this desktop flow to perform activities and then to perform, to automate certain processes and then, leveraging the capabilities inside. So I mean, you can use the recording capabilities to perform things. At the same time, you can also manually play around and then create your own flow and then, perform the automation. I think, right. So with that, I think I'm very much done. So yeah, I think that's all about the demonstration for Windows one. I'll try and see if I can have it offline and then share a quick video on this one. That's pretty much on the like and as you can see, so I'm trying to an option of bringing this cognitive capabilities over here. Like for example, we can go, for example, can go to a review site and I can understand the review and then understand the sentiment out of it and then throw that out. That is one area that I was trying to do. I'll come back to the next one. So again, you have the capabilities here. That way, you have options available, with which you'll be able to extend to any of the cognitive capabilities. I think that's it from my side. So as I said, it's in a very second stage now, and yeah, exploring. Any questions on the ones that I showcased?
Hello. Hi, Senthil. Can I ask one question?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Senthil, between the Excel commands which we have in the flow and which we have here in RPA, which one would be preferred?
Between the Excel, you mean in the Power Automate flow?
Yes, I mean like in the cloud flow and in the RPA, both places we have Excel commands to work upon. So which one would be preferred during the automation?
I mean, if the Excels are pretty much on OneDrive or any on the cloud, I think you can still go with Power Automate. But let's say if your Excel is on your local machine, let's say there is a legacy system which actually generates an Excel and then keep it only in local, which may not be able to get into a cloud world. So all these local Excel files can be only accessible from here. So that way you can actually use the Excel capabilities to close that. For example, you can launch your own Excel and you can read from that. So pretty much anything on your whole desktop that will be able to leverage through this. Whereas if you wanted to put them into OneDrive and then any on the cloud, you can always very well do that in Power Automate Flow as well. But this is precisely for a desktop. Anything that you want to keep it in the desktop on the desktop side, you'll come to this or this RPA.
Perfect. Thank you. Another query which I have, Senthil, that is, I have seen, I'm following this RPA things since last some time, and I'm seeing like Microsoft is moving very fast from some Selenium to UI Flow to some Win automation, now then Power Automate PAD. So like this quick movement is making a little bit challenge for the people who are going to work upon this, because we don't know like when the next thing will come, and that would be different. And if I made some solution out of the current thing, and then it would be something get deprecated in very quickly near future.
So I think valid question. But I think what has been happening here is that anything on a regular Power Automate flow, I think on the that's going to go over there. But on Power Automate desktop, in case if there are new features available, I'm sure it's an installer, because it is basically a desktop installer. So any new things that are going to come in over here, I'm sure there will be an update, and then you can go on with it. But I'm sure with heavy investment on this RPA, I mean that again, it is not entirely being done by Microsoft. Rather, it's a product of some automotive called Win Automation that has been acquired and then taken things on. So that Win Automation has been there for quite some time. So there is a lot of that was there for a long time, and then there are already RPAs that are running on that flow. So this is just that they have taken that up and then put it on top of the Microsoft platform. So this is basically an acquisition and then a merger of which is. So you basically have this Power Automate, a regular one, merged with the desktop flow. So definitely, I think it is evolving, or it is in a very inception stage. But what I'm very sure is that Microsoft may not disturb the existing one. Rather, by working with the Win Automation team, they'll actually, I would say, evolve with a lot more new features. For example, all of these cognitive features are all, taken once they had this as part of Microsoft, as part of our platform. All this cognitive one, Azure ones, and in fact, it is available for AWS and the Google Cloud as well. Some things that got additionally added, but some of the ones are, some of the typical RPA process are already there, right? From OCR to desktop capabilities. Those are pretty much derived from the existing version.
Thank you.
Well, I think from a pricing standpoint, I think Microsoft has got a different strategy. I think on pricing, I'll quickly show, because every licensing one, I think you have Power Automate license, and then you have a license based on the bots. So for every a flow that you create, I think this is a pricing as far as RPA is concerned. If you include RPA, this capability is $40 per user per month with attendance, and the regular one is regular $15 is comes with an attended RPA. There is a bit of pricing evolved on an attended RPA as well. Unattended is a complete backend process. So that's a little expensive, but the regular one comes with attended RPA, whatever that you perform with some analytics.
Okay, Senthil, I have one more query. Like we have, if in production scenarios, we have mostly three environment: dev and like stage and the production. So regarding this licensing, $150, which is costing for one RPA solution unattended. So do we need three licenses for one flow, or it's like one license will work for all three environment?
Only one license actually. As we go with typical environment, I think environment is I mean it's not based on environment. So it's per flow for user. You can create as many environments and then navigate your flows between.
Yep. Thank you.
Same flow I can go for QA, UAT, and production, and then I can just I mean moving the flows again the same process where you can you know add them as part of solution and then move it between the environment. Right now I don't have the environment right now, but it's quite same like what you do for Power Automate. You have to put them into solution and then export that and import it to a new environment and then deploy that. Any other questions? Perfect. I think if there's no questions, I think we can wind up. And please fill up the surveys for those, and then when you yeah, please do have feedback as well for posted out. And thank you all. And in case of any other queries, you can always follow me in my handle, and I'll be happy to help you. But then, as far as RPA is concerned, it's brand new, and I'm also getting into that. It's just a quick sneak peek of what RPA does. That's what I was trying to showcase here. There's a lot more to be explored and then taken things on. So yeah, happy exploring. Perfect. I think if there are no more questions, then I think we can close the call. Again, bye.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Okay. Great. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Senthil. A great presentation. Thank you.